Let's take a look at the agents as we jump onto Haven. Mini, I was speaking about, do you like the double initiator coming for BBL? That is what we saw on week 1. And we are seeing changes. Alpha is back on the Killjoy, and this is, yeah, exactly. We're going to see Con going on the Viper here on Haven. What do you make of this for the side of Fnatic? Oh, crashing.
I love how you teed up Chronicle for this map, because I think the Cypher, when he's on the double duelist composition, he isn't amazing on the Cypher here. He's like doing his job as the flex player.
It's passive for him.
But Viper is the agent that I associate with Chronicle these days. Like, he is, if not the best Viper in the world, in my opinion. So I think this is a map where he has to shine.
Yeah, and Billy, on the other side, BBL, the double initiator, we've seen this composition 1,000 times. What do you think they can do against Fnatic?
I think Mini's perhaps annoyed at the breach still being played on this map, but I think what we can say is there was a lot of synergy between Yampi and Levin on that last map. I think that Cairo and Haza were highlighting it on the cast as well. I think going up against a Neon is going to be difficult for them, and Kayak has looked so strong on that agent in the past. So yeah, they need to not be caught off guard when they're anchoring these sites starting on the defense.
And with Kayak going on the Neon, I feel like I've seen Alpha playing on Killjoy on this map so many times. We speak about Chronicle, but Mini, if you're a coach, right? Imagine that you're in 2021. Imagine instead of that Neon is like a Jet, and you're in 2021, and someone comes out with the composition that Fnatic have. What is the #1 thing, knowing that you're starting from the defense, that you will tell your players?
What is the thing from the defense? It means that we're not going to be able to control EMEA. Like that Viper.
Do you give up, or you find another solution?
You find other solutions. It could be that you gamble more and try to like trap them in, but ultimately, if you're just going to leave your Jet up close, it's probably going to be pretty difficult because they just re-clear you any time. So they should know how to play a Viper against the Viper at this point. It means that you have to leave 2 players a little bit more for information and do more proactive things on the map.
I mean, it's BBL. They've been pretty proactive on the defense. I think that is probably something that...
They're probably one of the most proactive teams that we have on defense, no?
It's often from early round situations, though. And I think they're going to need to find that aggression in mid-rounds, not just early rounds.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. We have a little bit of a delay on stage, but do not worry, guys. We will get into game very, very shortly. Oh, apparently so short, we're going right now. So have this over, Haz and Cairo, for the last map of this best of 3.
And what a map it could prove to be in BBL's campaign towards a first ever appearance at Champions. That's what it's been for them, a year of first playoff stage, and chance for a first international event, still feeling quite far away at this point in time. All of those top 3 teams laying in wait in front of them to reach that peak, and for now, Haven, a deciding map, as we said before, the kind of place where historically BBL have then dropped off at that last moment.
Yeah, Fnatic have gone away from the comp that they were the architects for. So what will this look like for them, right? With the Viper coming in, double controller, Kayak on that Neon. It's 11 early, as it was all of a sudden. Stun to try and set him up, the proactivity put in the set piece. With an aftershock at the feet of Crashes, he's forced to move forwards, but it's not a problem. In fact, it's the green light he was looking for. Fnatic from the starter gun have not missed a beat, but neither has Magnum this series. And that's the quick reality check. Yeah, Spike on the floor, up against Althea. That was the player who replaced Magnum on Fnatic. And sort of felt that instant success from his arrival onwards for Magnum. It's been a long and arduous road, even dropping back down into challengers to reclaim his spot. When Vac left after the kickoff win against Fnatic previously, he had to fill his shoes, and now it's another 3K that he will be looking to lock in, of which he has found plentiful amounts so far in this series. Just biding his time and waiting for the plant to be confirmed. Tap of the Spike beats Magnum back in though, and Alpha commits to that Spike plant. Magnum's got out back sight, and as he closes the distance, Althea unaware! Magnum pops his head up, and BBL do respond. Another opening pistol round, and this time It's on Haven, and it's Haven defense as well. That's a big aspect to be considering. Haven's defense notoriously hard. Recent trends have shown against that, but that's more the ISO Eurocomps, not the traditional ones that we've been seeing. It's a big clutch from Magnum. Doing absolutely what was required of him.
BBL Classic! BBL Classic! BBL Classic!
This is a nice.
So, if you were waiting for another reason to buy the bundle, that might be exactly the one that you were looking for. Taking a step back, though, Kayak on this Neon, for me, has to be one of the biggest talking points of the Fnatic composition change, because we saw how on Ascent at times, when he wasn't supported fully, perhaps, on his lonesome in a lot of endeavors, it was difficult for them. And Haven at times, when maybe you don't have as much official experience, at least running this composition, could be a problem. But if he keeps doing that, then maybe we reconsider.
Yeah, well, let's not completely write this off. Fnatic was able to equal BBL as well on Ascent
In the second round, which is why we sort of wait with bated breath for now. 11 down C long is a massive benefit to the defensive setup, because it means that if they do go for the garage push, he'll be ready. It's B instead, though.
I'm out of here.
trying to force their way in, make it closer angles, closer fights, which will favour these Sheriffs. That's an insane shot, and now has a rifle in hand. A real possibility for Fnatic.
It's a 4v2 on site, but Fnatic have cleared the place, and with Magnum back in, needs the timing on the drone, and Kayak has a rifle now.
So Heaven's Outlaw against 4. As soon as he has to reload, you can imagine that he'll be flooded with players trying to close him down, but instead changes his angle of approach.
And that's the reason that we don't get the reload, because he's hoping for the element of surprise. It's only going to inhibit his chances. There's the next, but yeah, it's a round signed, sealed, and delivered personally by Kayak. 11 will make sure that not a single player escapes from the round with their life. But it's the same story. Fnatic in the second round. The pistol undone almost immediately.
Yeah, I mean, Fnatic being able to respond is going to be heartbreaking for BBL. This is just insane. It's just Kayak again being able to fix Fnatic's problems.
Supportive utility from Crashies as well has its part to play. The reveal on the player backside, I think his drones have been good for info so far. A year which I think is probably the best that we've had from him since 2022. You look back to 2023, it was a decent start to life in NRG colors, but almost perma on the sky that time, and 2024 a tough year, whereas here already peaking, second place, another international event. You have to consider the value that he brings.
Another set play for BBL is they line up basically the same thing that happened in the pistol round. Levin with a rifle in hand will be the one to send it forward.
But there is no early trigger. They're waiting for the contact, and as it's hit a little later, Kayak's already beaten the first couple lines of defense. There was a rifle in the mix for BBL, but that's already on the ground, dead and buried along with the rest. Kayak, 3 players drop at his hands. With the overdrive available, Fnatic are starting to build up their empire on attack side, and that's the issue. When you win the defender side pistol but lose the immediate follow-up, that attack gets almost stronger than if they'd just won the first 2 rounds anyway.
It just upsets the economy, right?
Because the bonus is going to look so strong now. I mean, money with every player. Alfia been put to a classic so he can hunt and move that lockdown within the realms of possibility in following rounds.
Oh, he's even being gifted his rifle back.
I heard the steps trailing off in mid and decided it's actually not worth looking for, and the same for making sure that Prophet doesn't get away with a gun and has to die to the spike himself.
Yeah, and really nicely done. It's just making sure to pay attention to the smaller details, suffocate BBL of any opportunities and anything that could garner them a little bit of momentum. But confirmation, Fnatic will get their second. But with that being said, remember this happened on Ascent where they eventually lost out.
Yeah, and it was a half of minimal returns from BBL eventually, but the roles are flipped here, at least in terms of the side starts. And I think Kayak is really thriving on the attack here, on the Neon. I mean, I raised the question, how exactly was it going to look? But he's feeling tied to the hip of the rest of this pack up until this point in time. It's towards Magnum's site that they're going with that slightly deeper trap. Oh, it's been replaced, and that's an opportunity for Crashies to break it with the shock. It missed.
It did. Well, Kayak will be telling his team that, but Magnum takes his opportunity out of the cage, and Boaster's the one that grabs him. So BBL at a disadvantage trying to retake, and Levin nowhere near the site.
It's one of the areas you would be looking for an advantage, the Cypher utility against the Neon barreling in. And it has actually stopped Fnatic from getting the plant for now. The rotation has been made.
But Boaster not seen with that drone. That's going to be a problem for BBL.
And Alpha now queuing up late outside of Garage. So he is the dagger that waits over the shoulder blades of BBL, who are all retaking from defender spawn side.
Out they go. Boaster still not cleared, and well, he takes his chance, takes his opportunity. Only able to get one, but plays in the rest of Fnatic. Still though, you're waiting on Alpha to activate, but he's not even needed. Fnatic will find their third.
My sentry picks from Boaster, he's the one that gets aggressive. And if you want to speak to the strengths of this Fnatic composition with the double controller, you have to be thinking about the Viper specifically. And Kron's Viper Orb there, because the decay that it shaves off of the retake, pushing in, buys a lot of time.
On the eco, it looks like BBL trying to be aggressive down B, also on A.
Oh, Levin needs one kill to get the blades up. If he could have found Alpha clean, that's the asterisk you place. And that's the thing with BBL. It's been a lot of when and if this year, not is, in terms of their status in the qualified spaces.
I think as well, just to bring it back to the map and speaking about the kind of the macro aspect of it, is Fnatic have been able to threaten that C side so often. The fact that they've been able to get the quick pops, right? And with that being said, now if they now start to default out, there's always going to be that a little bit of hesitation from BBL. They know Fnatic at any moment in time can just pivot and hit C site with all their might.
Drop the spike.
Yeah, I think that's where previously we'd seen the stylistic matchup have differences. Boaster's calling against Nat's calling, and another one of those former Liquid players, Yampi, here. But maybe there can be a mismatch in the macro at times. But if you consider callers on this map, I think Fnatic's commander-in-chief, he is one of the best, if not the best in the world on this map specifically. I mean, all the way back as, God forbid, the Summon FC days, it was where he plied his trade. And we saw the highlights of that in the Vitality game in Stage 1, I think, one of the best displays. And here,
yes!
one of the biggest things for Fnatic is just feeling like they have the right read more than anything else. Individuals aside, this team, everyone can perform, and we know that. So it's more the system, and if everything on that side of their game plan is falling into place against BBL.
I mean, you look at Haven, like, as we look at the whole year, right? Because right now, when we get towards the end, we now have a full grasp of every team's situation, what the possibilities are. And Haven, although historically has been a great Fnatic map, it's actually not been great for the year-long portion, because at this moment in time, Fnatic sit on a 50% win rate on Haven, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah, it's also quite reliant on Alpha's form, I think. When he had slight dips in form here on the ISO is when they struggled more. But when he was playing at his best, I know it was a tight win in the end, but that Koi game signifies the strengths that it can have. Heretics usurping the throne of the best EMEA team on this map, I think, with the same composition that Fnatic originally pioneered, but one that they've moved away from here. And if playoffs is going to mean anything to them, it's diversifying their options. You've already seen a small win taken by them in picking up Corrode, a huge one potentially later down the line. And yeah, to give us any more faith in the Haven at the back end of a series which means that much more for BBL is yet another thing to be thinking about. But right now it is Route 1, a direct approach. Kayak at the front.
Camera taken out.
Now, straight away Hunter's Fury back, and that's a big couple tags and an entry for BBL, well, a double, and Yampi's making that pain even worse. It's now just the two players on site.
Yeah, mid walk down finding huge value. BBL need to be cautious in how they organize the retake here, and that's the first sign of warning.
Both players low on Fnatic though, that's the problem that these players will have, and it needs to be clean fights from here on out, which it has been for the most part, but it's Boaster all alone as all of BBL descend upon his position and get their second round.
Yeah, and the reason why I said that they should reapproach this with an air of caution is that it wasn't guaranteed. No. You had Yampy and Levin walk down mid off of this Hunter's Fury, which was really nicely played, but from that position, Levin was the only one left on the flank. It was going to take a bit of time for Yampy to arrive, and then you want to be in a tradable position. Boaster does punish them, and while that's not fully reflected in the economy just yet, it's a huge round for BBL to keep putting themselves back in this game. Levin with op money. Going to see that first fight taken here outside of Garage.
There's an attack side up for Kron as well. He's holding on to the A portion of the map, but BBL, most of their bodies towards the B and C. As Levin holds on from Garage, misses out on Kayak's Neon, and is being forced out.
Spam catching the headpiece of Levin, so he's brought down to 21. No dash available, minimal tools. Best left on an extremity to control an area of the map, and that's exactly what he's been able to do, retaining the Garage space. Fnatic begin to cast their banner elsewhere. BBL should be pretty happy to play for the A retake here. You can see the placement of the trap would suggest for an early heads up. They know the lockdown is in play. And Yampy has his Rolling Thunder to come back in with.
There's his angle of approach though, because he's starting to search in mid. The drone, the Killjoy turret would have identified that, but Alpha is stuck between a rock and a hard place. Needs to get a kill. He will at least get one, but it's Magnum, not Yampy, so that Rolling Thunder's still in play.
Huge win, but Kron left without the stun, unperturbed, goes back in for seconds and threads the needle. That's Yampy's ult off the board, and for BBL, from this position, not looking to play to what felt like a straightforward win condition, perhaps. The other side of the coin is Fnatic then expecting it themselves, and that's where you really start to go down the rabbit hole, but flank tested and one ultimately shut down by Kron.
Hey, very well played as well. I was wondering about Kron's attack side up of all players to pick it up. We know Alpha's been good on it, Kayak's had his moments, but Kron...
Hell, even Boaster. Yeah. We've seen it in the past.
Yeah, exactly. But hey, listen, it works out in the end, and that's the key thing about it. An ultimate that's found value through Alpha here.
Yeah, my operator worked today.
And sometimes that's all you need. If BBL are going to give you those fights, then you take them every day of the week. Levin with some shrapnel of his own, which has survived a huge chunk. In fact, that operator is well positioned. Oh, Kayak, other side of the wall.
No, Levin can flex, so if the Neon maybe catches him off guard.
Where's Sociable in all of this? He's walked right up mid again. And Fnatic, he's not expecting it.
Yeah, but look at the spike. It's in BBL's favour. Levin gets kayak as well. This is a disaster.
A disaster in the making, perhaps. There isn't too much pressure, or time pressure on Fnatic right now, so...
It could be, though, very quickly. Boaster's managed to escape onto C, though, but it's Sociable in mid that gets caught out.
Yeah. Spike recovered.
Shadows traveling.
Oh, and 3 versus 4 now. Boaster had to be a little bit careful, but you know what? He's been hitting some shots so far today. So has Profek!
Spike down, C.
Quick double from the Sheriff, a gut punch, but Crashies is still within range. Look at the health bars.
I have the spike.
Oh, Yampy up
30
next.
seconds
He has the
left.
rifle, and he's caught Crashies off guard. And a pay safe card Thrifty brings them closer to their opponents.
Yeah, BBL just rushing no matter the side, and that's the biggest detail. The turret mid-construction when Sociable took the timing. How often is it you see the sober player be the one to make that kind of inquisition?
Come on, boys! You guys are eco too!
Profek posing questions of his own with the Sheriff. Still holding on to a lot of ults on both sides though, and this is where we're expecting things to come to blows. Yeah. Another setup for Levin.
BBL really love to try and make Fnatic uncomfortable, or at least force them into making a decision. That's what's happened right now, as all the players start to move towards A.
Cam in the corner. Profek still with the paranoia. Wondering when BBL look to try and make a play, if they do. It's towards the other arm of the push.
Thought for a moment that they were going to move into the stack, right? Still possibly could.
Drone shut down early by the shock dart from Sociable. The one gap on the map for BBL is B. With Fnatic starting to break the trap now, indicative of their finishing positions. Everything else covered by BBL, and the value of this Rolling Thunder compounded on the B site. But no capitalization.
Oh, well, there is information now.
And no plant yet.
Yeah, this is getting worrying. As BBL try to defumigate that pit, although Yampy nearly gets the opportunity to take Kron himself. What's going on?
I think Fnatic wanted to go away, but they've cancelled those plans. They will end on B. Smoke is down, though. Crashes in the open, 15 seconds.
He has a chance to deny the plan. Levin nearly takes Alpha off guard. Instead, it's Magnum. Spike plant confirmed. But look at the two players' positions. Completely disconnected. And one of those the op.
But Kron is refueling, though, and will be able to put this toxic screen back up. Has the cloud if needed.
Trying to escape to a safe place but can't find it, and now it's just Kron's op. Hopefully he won't be given the opportunity if you're a BBL fan, and he won't be, to even get a second shot off. Levin says thank you for the opportunity. We're within one between these two.
And it was another very weird round for Fnatic, not one to be celebrated, but I tell you what can, 2,000 kills for Chronicle. He's spent his fair share of time in EMEA. He's got the trophies, the accolades to back it up. But the one trophy that is missing from his cabinet, alongside the others on that side of the server, is of course champs. And that's what they're going to be thinking about. And this round, I think, is probably a component of some of the issues we may be seeing with Fnatic at the moment in terms of that indecision. They end up on B, you think they're going to go elsewhere, and it just takes so long to get to post.
I just find it funny that that was Kron's 2000th kill, him sitting in the corner as Magnum swings out.
Mate, look, you take what you can get. If we sat you in that corner for long enough, for maybe 2,000 games, you would have 2,000 kills. So
that's being optimistic, let's be honest.
That is understandable. But you know the reasons for this timeout coming through. It doesn't find itself in too surprising of a timing right now. Check in with the coaches on either side, pals. Speech cut short. No victory lap, of course, just yet for BBL. So much work left to be done. 3 rounds from the last 4 to bring them within touching distance, but a dive beneath their opponent. Huge opportunity, really, for them to make good of this defensive half, especially after how it started.
Oh. Confirmation Kron is the 4th player on a VCT to hit 2 key kills. Along some star-studded players. Oh, Levin caught off guard. Did actually hit for Alpha. Dropped to 17. Wonder if that bullet must have went through the box then.
Certainly feels that way. BBL with 3 bodies on A once more. Sociable, hung up in the rafters, just paying half an eye's attention to Long. Now the drone's traded either way. Full focus on short for Magnum, planting his feet, entrenched in the corner, yet to be cleared, but peeking into Boaster, who on the fadeaway has picked up yet another.
Yeah, and Yampi's trying to flank here. He's caught by the alarm bot, so Fnatic know about it, ready to hit into the site.
Fnatic back on their feet. Profek has made a juncture of his own. Boaster, one back.
Careful.
The captain has kept them moving forward, round on round. He does tend to step up in these bigger games sometimes when you least expect it. Now with twice the numbers and time to set up this post, you expect Fnatic to be in the driver's seat, and that's exactly what you get. It's surgical in the end. BBL just can't find a way to cut those players from position.
Yeah, Fnatic starting to get savvy to what BBL are trying to do with upsetting the flow of the round.
It was a pixel.
Yes.
It was a pixel.
It's unlucky. But you can see that, right? Like the aggression that BBL was using, the fact that they're trying to constantly like just swing haymakers.
I know exactly what you mean. I've heard enough of your boxing analogies.
Thanks, mate. Not even a big boxing fan either.
No, no. Look, I for one would not step in the ring with you, so I'll give you that.
But 4 players strong on the A side for BBL as they look to clear this side out.
Yeah, it's another one of those rounds which is indicative of them trying to guide Fnatic into their setup. But Magnum hasn't found too much value from these traps up until now, and he's not really in a position to capitalize from them either. Another well-placed drone from Crashies has put doubt in his mind, but
yeah, and Yampi's starting to think about, hey, where could Fnatic go next? Maybe be long. I'm going to go and support Levin. And both players look to hold it down.
only one gun heard, one dash away. This is where Yampi gets overlooked, and Levin comes back in, circles to position with blood in the water, but it's Crashies to draw it. Boaster in the back line now, Profek having to do it all. Can't stand up to the challenge. BBL buckling under the pressure in these last couple, as Fnatic now will have guaranteed themselves an advantage on the half with the money that BBL have here. Maybe Sociable could think about a save on the Vandal, or maybe you just give it a go.
Seems like he wants it, right? I mean, he's got Magnum close by.
Revealing area.
Bill comes in, jump up Sociable, finding one, but on 5 points of health, he's got to take the long way round.
Yeah, I think this is where the white flag gets thrown in, but Boaster's trying to deny it, as well as Kron, and they'll get it. That's advantage confirmed.
Boaster piloting a lot of these attack rounds for Fnatic, and sometimes that's what you need. If he feels like the read is there, set up for the rest of the team.
Oh, nice spray transfer.
Why not lead the charge? And as you say, Crashies also having his moments. Fnatic giving us the team performance right now, whereas for BBL, they're looking for their hero, someone to step up. That was a big point that we were thinking about for them throughout the year. When it comes to these tough games, you have stage experience on Magnum and Yampi, but then some of these rookies, the ones that have really looked like the best players, not maybe hit the highlights. Here, Levin will give it a go early on, and it's forced the A reaction.
And that's what BBL want.
But who's there on the other side?
I'm out of here.
I mean, nobody. They're playing for retake, giving up the site. Fnatic get all the space that they need, but Yampi once again thinking about mid.
Boaster too, just unrelenting. You'd think that he was Levin, at least in terms of how he positions himself, but that is a big loss. Kron down, no more Toxin. BBL held at arm's length. Yampy trying to retake some of this space, but the defender's side has to hold up its end of the bargain if he's to get the value. 2 players sucked into his orbit, one of them crashes, he will survive. Still BBL down a man.
Yeah, and trying to force the way back in. Paranoia didn't hit, and that's going to allow Kayak to get the next 2.
It's a frustrating conclusion for BBL, but for Fnatic, their woes have been answered, their troubles settled. An 8-4 half, one which they lead convincingly. Something that we are yet to see from either team really so far in this series. At the perfect time for the team already on their way to Paris, making sure that they aren't in company anytime soon.
Not jumping out of head, but not again, man. Not.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Well, this is now looking like a dire situation for BBL. Is this the BBL that was able to make top 4 in stage 1? Or is this the BBL that managed to just drop out before they got to that top 4 spot in kickoff, not reaching the required spot? Now in stage 2, top 4 would be enough to make it to champs. Can they do it here?
That's the thing, even if they win this game, you go up and face Heretics in the next. There's no guarantee that top 4 is even on your horizon at that point in time. It's a long road ahead, but it starts one step at a time. The attacks are where BBL have looked at their best. It's the identity that we've created for them. This doesn't need to be Fnatic's day, but for BBL, that's what they're relying on.
More favoured side on the attack. A missed flash stops Levin getting straight to work on the A side, and Fnatic are prepared for this. As we can see, all the bodies are moving through mid. Well, Crashes tries to delay the spike plant through his shock darts, and that's exactly the case. Spike now going in, but all the players ready on the flank for Fnatic.
And do BBL even want to have a look towards spawn here? Crashes is monitoring it with Chronicle, and now that the flank is hit, it's the call to action for BBL.
Yeah, that's exactly where they're going. Levin completely wipes out Kron.
Second
and
headshot.
Crashes being forced all the way back. Magnum holding sight by himself while Yampy's close by, and it works out. A pistol round win on the horizon for BBL here, and they'll get an in-zone flawless off the back of it. But with that being said, we've seen pistol round wins before for BBL. We need to see anti-eco wins.
That's exactly it. An in-zone flawless, cheeky position from Magnum in the corner here. More than anything else, BBL keeping Fnatic humble at this stage in the game.
Boys! Come on, boys!
Giving themselves a platform on the attack, which is where we know they are capable. But that idea of capability, dark horses, all of the fanfare that surrounds the teams in this wild circus that VCTEMEA tends to be means absolutely nothing if you can't do it at the business end of the season, and that's what we've been building towards. Fnatic coming into this with just the one Sheriff on Kayak, but we have seen more with less.
Just that 4-player death ball that's constantly moving for BBL as Magnum is maybe looking for a different angle of approach through C, a look that can potentially activate at any moment, but Fnatic are moving at the same pace as the Death Ball and at the same side of the map.
That's the thing too, Magnum doesn't have a rifle this time, so if he does get picked off, it's not like you can really spin that stinger against him, I suppose, and very quickly it will be a matter of importance. Chronicle dispense, and now Fnatic looking to react. Into the sewer space they go. Sociable found. That was the pistol. Still rifles behind this attack, and rifles made to work. Levin gets Fnatic sweating. But with him the only player in the site, it's quickly traded hands.
30 seconds.
Yeah, and that's a potential rifle that could go to Kayak, which is worrying. Although Alpha walks into the stinger of Magnum and puts Fnatic at a disadvantage.
Moving with an air of confidence. He feels like, look, if you take me down, that's fine. Happy to cast judgment across the map, and that is ultimately what wins the round for BBL.
Hey, there we go. Finally, BBL win an anti-equal round. Congrats to them. But is that what's going to be the difference in towards this half, right? Because they now need to use this momentum to potentially have a damaging bonus round.
It's been a story of second halves, though, Cairo. To look at the previous two, 13-7, either which way, Fnatic really struggled on the second half previously. That was their attack. It was the defense where we saw the timeouts invested. Short-handed. BBL anything but. 4 rifles, 2 Bulldogs in there. But Magnum, the kill leader, still working with the stinger, but walking into a loaded garage setup.
That's so much utility and then surrounding it. Profit
Oh.
up, but it's Yampi's aftershock that gets the kill, and Profit with the timing. Levin as well. BBL open up that C site, and the other two players have Crashes and Poster. They want to stay towards it. They want nothing to do with this.
Profek is Levin's knight in shining armor, comes to the rescue just when the head was turned. The utility airtight to take the garage space. And if you want to look at the broader context, it's those two players which have put BBL in this position. Those pickups from challengers the previous year in their debut year, of course. Look, I'm not going to just gloss over Sociable here, but I think the point being is that these are the two aggressive ones that really want to get stuck in Fnatic's face. And if they're firing on all cylinders, if that partnership is effective, then that's when you're going to see the results. The problem being, when it comes to these bigger occasions, these games that require that kind of step up from them, maybe one's missing or the other, they've just never had both of them going at the same time. But it has to be that perfect storm if it is to work out.
Yeah, and I feel as if it has to be the perfect storm for BBL to find themselves in the upper bracket as well, because of the fact that Heretics lies in wait.
Yeah, and sorry to just bring it back to this round even. The aftershock from Yampi saving Profek so Profek can save Levin. Like, this is a ridiculous butterfly effect.
Why is no one looking at that, bro?
Even just on the round, and I don't know Milan, honestly. it happens to the best of us. So the Fnatic coaching staff thinking that something could be done about it, perhaps holding us for just a moment, or at least that's what you would think. Even then, it would be such an early timeout for 3 rounds.
Yeah, it would be, but with that being said, you've also got to consider how the rounds have been won, right? I mean, the fact that they've not been considering the the details, right?
Oh, absolutely. And I think as well, something that's always going to catch teams off is just how pasty BBL can be if they want to turn it on. It's then, are you capable of gear shifting, slowing things down just a little bit if you need to? As you may have noticed, we are just waiting to get back in game, and any more information, of course, we'll let you know. But yeah, like I said, you have to be able to play both sides to it. I think we saw it on the defense quite a bit, right? BBL wanting to be aggressive all the time, but it's then that next step. Do you know when to reel it in?
Yeah. I mean, we are confirmation. That is going to be tech pause, unfortunately. But with that being said, we have to just look at the whole bracket as well, right? And talk about the playoffs as a whole, because
no worries.
you think about Team Heretics lying in wait for BBL. We've still got our other playoff game that's to be played after this one as well. And I mean, BBL, right? Like, you've got to be thinking about how do they potentially shape themselves up for that Team Heretics game if they were able to even win this one.
Yeah, that's the game that I feel like everyone, maybe not the Fnatic fans in the audience, would want to see, just because it is a recurring match that we end up getting throughout the year. And if it is Fnatic that play Heretics, it's coming way earlier in the bracket than you would expect. Yeah. They take the loss against Liquid. That's ultimately what ends up deciding it. I mean, even BBL's own history in the group stage, this stage, has meant that, I mean, the fact that they've made Seed 3 is an achievement in itself, right? 3 wins in a row to do it. It affects a lot. Even just being a team that has to start in the lower bracket, I think, just has such an effect on your run. And mentally, you know that it's your last chance. Yeah. BBL, if they rise to the occasion in that situation or not, I think is one thing to consider. And another, with this being a technical pause very quickly, it's come at a stage in the game where we've just seen BBL be very aggressive and play very fast. So in terms of what they're thinking now,
yeah, and I mean, the buy not the best as well, but with that being said, let's look at the career of one of our best.
Yeah, Boaster, considered by some the best in-game leader in the world.
Best in-game leader of all time, I'd say.
All time?
But I'm of that opinion. I think the only thing that would cement his legacy would be that Champs trophy.
Yeah, I think that's fair. When you look at the different players that he's been able to work with, there's certainly a case to be made. But as you put it, Champs has been that ever-evasive one for Fnatic, and that's why the focus for them in the second stage is always things which would otherwise seem trivial, like, you know, map pool, momentum. I think is a huge one that we've not actually spoken about a lot today. But when you're really feeling at your best and it coming at the right time of the year for a team, that's always something to think about. We saw it with Paper X on their run to Toronto. That was built from an early group stage potential exit, then through playoffs. It is track by track, quite literally, and it's important that we understand.
Well, back into game once we go. Just to remind you, or anybody new who's come in to watch this one, BBL have been able to win 3 in a row in blistering pace, and Fnatic are trying to get some semblance of a bye with 2 rifles saved, 2 new stingers and a bucky. So into the next one we go, and BBL continue that pace by trying to take A lobby.
They threaten it at the very least. Fnatic not yet biting on the possibility, but it's rounds like this which can really catch you if you're BBL. After a little break, the tech pause, and then you come in here, and Fnatic have a weird buy, and you've got corners to clear. Got Alpha with deep positioning on C long, something to consider. Up against the mixed investment, looks like they're just going to go for the B play. It's a bold call to make from Yampy, but it's one which looks to be serving the purpose. A lack of extra control would be an issue, but the captain leads by example. That's Kayak gone.
Yeah, it's a bold call because we know that these Stingers and Buckies are better at close range, but BBL are just knocking them down.
And that's the issue now for Fnatic. The choice weaponry is nowhere near as good when you're the one that has to peek around those corners. But Kron, with an injection of pace, has picked up the first. As long as Yampy can guard this smoke, he's going to be in a good position. But slight adjustment with the Poison Orb forces Profek to think about it, and think he will. BBL to tie up the scoreline as expected. Boaster escaping with a rifle. Fnatic's economy not fully level. I mean, you see there, they purchased fairly heavily. They're still going to have majority weapons in the next. It's a weird one.
Yeah, I mean, it all...
Yeah, they get the full buy.
Yeah, exactly. And we come back into this probably with this making us... I don't think it's going to decide the match, but I think it's going to come pretty close to it, right?
No.
Frustrations.
Yeah. And with that full buy coming in, it's a very important one, right? This defensive buy not looking great. Attack side up, invested by Levin.
Ooh, and just shoulder spots Kayak as he was face checking it himself. Back to his right-hand side.
off towards the C site, playing as a pivot. Low rotation time for the Neon. Fnatic has been setting up to hold the sites as much as possible, and in terms of C, it's on spot this time rather than through garage. That's what Kron's Viper Wall is for. It means that you have to clear through so many angles, getting decayed along the way.
Deploying drone.
It's also a repeat of the Killjoy setup in garage, which will need to be dealt with by BBL and can buy some stall if the nano is opened, which it won't be. It's Alpha's head instead.
And BBL bust onto that side, but Kayak's timing works out, trying to bust out into safety, does so, and Magnum's lying there and wait! But Kayak's unbelievable!
So quick. BBL anything but. They're yet to hit the C site. Huge 1v1 on Sociable, but he wins it and opens up B. With the smoke placed at his back, he's relying on this recon to give him the cognizance to just get in there, and that's what they'll do.
Spike down, now trying to bolster down, a little bit of delay, but it'll be chip damage instead onto Yampi, and Bolster finding Profit makes this a lot more doable.
Really feeling himself so far. And now, repossessing the mid space, BBL detached from one another, time ticking, but Fnatic have players in place.
They do. Oh, that's a nice paranoia, but Kron hasn't capitalised. Finally closing up, and Yampi hears the steps, calling for support through. It's Sova, but it doesn't come. Now Sociable needs to clutch with time so low. Boaster peeks out. Kron low. A shock's enough, and that's what's going to win it.
And from beyond the grave, Sociable will give BBL the Red Bull clutch, which keeps the round count graphing upwards. 5 successive. And despite Boaster and Kron's best efforts, it's a gift. Chronicle, if he full sticks that, I think he might just about have it. It was incredibly close. Sociable didn't tap the shot. He was looking to really stretch that bow back.
Yeah, there was a chance, but with all 10 players dead, that will be Fnatic's coaching staff introducing themselves once again.
With the way he was setting up the duels as well, it was like, I think he'd forgotten for a moment he even had the util. It's like the panic com from your teammate. You have shocks. He's low, and there you have it. With that round picked up, this changes the face of the game. Not only do BBL have the lead, they're up against a broken Fnatic buy who are constantly going through the motions now.
Yeah, they are. Sorry, just for a moment, I got distracted by Pal's handwriting.
I was going to say, I saw it earlier. I'm wondering if he's writing in, like, is that a barcode or something? if I scan that, then...
I know he's a...
One item added to your basket. A Champions Paris ticket, perhaps.
But yeah, but he's not got the funds to buy it just yet.
Not just yet.
Not just yet. There's a possibility you could get that.
I do find it interesting, though, while we have a moment, that the timeout comes in here, because Fnatic aren't going to give us that full buy just yet. And we've already seen BBL take a moment. What do they feel needs to be changed?
It could be possible something like a note to the calling, right? Like something that they've noticed. Crashy's maybe dancing with the devil as he tries to play just right behind the smoke. And Levin gets 2 off the back of it. A Rolling Thunder invested, yes, but I mean, BBL get the sight for it. There's still a dodgy buy to try and navigate through, and well, BBL are doing it. Levin on for the ace.
BBL had showed signs of intention at taking long space early in previous rounds, but now they toy with the conditioning and actually fully commit beyond that Omen smoke, which is the deviation that ultimately wins this one for them, round 18. Sort of as you put it, I think it's important to note, yeah, maybe the coach did pick up on something. I think that's one interesting thing with both Thinky and Pal. We had the Spanish Challenger League post a tweet that Thinky, they have these like little magnets with utility on them, and yeah, using that whiteboard, you're kind of looking for those tendencies, right? What is it that Fnatic are repeating perhaps? Where can we look for a gap? They seem to have found it here. The bigger question will be, is that replicable in following rounds? As we are also now coming into the biggest ult cycle of this opening playoffs game.
Double digits found for BBL. They can see that finish line. They can't quite reach it just yet. Lovely utility, sets up Levin. 3 kills when he's on 6 HP is crazy.
Is indeed setting up here. Kayak brings the op out. And in terms of his positioning, on C. Now, BBL usually would think this is a site guarded with Sentinel utility, one which they slowly have to make their way into. The expectation of him on the line only comes through the Owl drone here, so smart usage from Sociable to collect them that information early and make no mistake.
Yeah, and Kayak no option to scope in.
Nice combo with the stun even to try and catch him off.
Yeah, doesn't work out. Magnum now exploring towards B. That's where Boaster is.
And the big problem on the map for BBL is that Viper's Pit and the Killjoy utility that's supporting in and amongst it. A lot of teams, you know, you see the op and you suddenly think, okay, we've got to panic, like we're panicking here.
Yeah.
You probably don't think that, but you do panic, right?
Yeah.
And you look to head elsewhere, but that's kind of what Fnatic want.
I mean, BBL, they've seen that the problem is there's a Viper's Pit A and an op on C. So the option now is towards B as they try to get onto Boaster, but Levin was stunned by his own breach, and it's actually Prophet counter carriage that buys BBL an opportunity to get that spike down.
Well, they've reconfirmed Kayak is here. They will not look to overwhelm him.
I don't want anything to do with it. Would rather take that extra space and C-Link as the other two try and approach from A, and Levin is caught the first. Another Kron lies in wait, but instead is backing off. Yeah. I think this is 11 for BBL.
It most certainly will be. We are seconds away from it, and Fnatic will be without their operator in the next round too. The biggest issue of the round for me, and one which BBL have approached with some serious grace. I mean, this was an 8-4 half in very much the same way that Fnatic were, you know, only... They had, it was a 7-5 half on Ascent. The difference being, of course, they're on the receiving end, but I digress. They've approached the situation with some serious composure. They've not fallen into the mind games immediately when there was such broad coverage from the defense. They found the gap, they've taken the timing, and this from Profek is more of the same. I said that it was either him or Levin that we needed to see step up. We're getting a bit of both, but it was always Profek in the past. Now we have everybody.
And Fnatic are going for broke here. They want to win and try and get up towards BBL. So this is a big round. This could decide the map. BBL, a team that Fnatic have never been able to beat, are trying the luck by buying into this one right here, right now.
Omenal immediately to just set the tone. Missed shot from Kayak goes past the leg of Magnum, who hasn't stopped. As BBL sprint towards the C site, they will be able to take it over, but this Viper wall in their post plant is a problem.
Yeah, that it is. And remember, there's no more smokes for BBL either, so every angle they cross is a potential for Fnatic to be on the other side.
They seek to deal with it through their positioning, and by playing in front, they confirm that no move has been made just yet by the defense. It's a double stack with 2 players off the shoulder. Boaster will be collecting the info, but the ult doesn't quite fan out backside, so he doesn't get full visual. Levin undetected, Magnum follows it up, but still Fnatic have the trades. Yumpy needs a whole lot more here, and he's gonna get it! The Finn to finish them off! Red Bull clutch for Yumpy, and BBL with a streak of 8.
And that could be it. The final nail in the coffin for Fnatic in this series.
1 enemy remaining.
Try to force everything into that last round.
Let's go! Come on, boys! Let's go!
BBL not dropping a single round so far in the second half. The majority of them on their feet. And in the 7 months that we've seen between the last time they faced, it might just be another 2-1 for the Turkish org.
It could be. Boaster trying to be aggressive in towards window, but Magnum's on the other side. Kron now next up, but look at BBL. Oh! They're trying to work in droves, but instead, Kron proves some resistance. Alpha catches the next, and Fnatic will be able to survive a round longer, it seems.
And that's the rug from beneath BBL's feet. You can't get too comfy when you're playing the team that is most at home on the EMEA stage. Our previous winners looking for back-to-back in successive years. But BBL, the first task, has not been so easy. And Levin still thinking about it. Oh, Kayak was low. That was an opportunity. Valhalla missed one.
Yeah, a big exhale from Fnatic as they're able to get and survive a round longer. This is crunch time for them. They need to show it here and now.
I mean, Kron finds 3 there, and you have to remember it was a 1v3 from Yumpy that actually got them the round win. So, yeah, frustration creeping in, and you don't really like to see it at all, to be honest, because that's what sold BBL short before. They've got 3 opportunities to close this one out, but that's the first for Fnatic, and when it rains, it pours.
The only thing for Fnatic, though, is they have an ultimate cycle that they could potentially build up in these following rounds. Alpha has the lockdown. That's why you look at the A site, and it's barren of opportunity of a kill.
Oh.
That's really early.
Yeah, I don't even know if the turret had been hit at that point.
But look at the aggressive stance in mid.
He's waiting for this, and he's left unchecked. So under the microscope, Magnum picking up the first of those kills, still hanging around in the back as the rest of BBL have arrived on the scene, busting into playoffs. And now set up for that rematch with Heretics, perhaps, unless Chronicle can do the unthinkable again.
I got the spike.
I mean, 3 bodies. That's what he needs to find, and Levin is low, but Magnum first on the scene.
But everything that's gone his way in the previous week or so, you're asking for so much in this situation. Denies the plant. A strong start, and with the pit in pocket, a tool to play with. He's stunned, thrown up into the air as the BBL players will find themselves on their feet as well. An eruption on their side of the stage. A huge win in their push to Paris.
BBL are Fnatic's kryptonite once again. The Supermen fall, the ones who were able to make the Toronto Grand Final. Sure, their focus was on their map pool, but there's a lot more question marks than answers found after this matchup, as both Ascent and Haven fall to BBL.
Positives to take for both, but the majority on the BBL side, of course. Yumpy paying his respects with the rest, as you can see the conclusion here perhaps would have been unexpected to some, but we know BBL have the potential. Finally tapping into it, they will now have to get past Heretics if they want that best possible chance at locking champs. The one team which they've been unable to surpass in VCT this year awaits them in the upper bracket semi-final. But in repeatable fashion, it's another 2-1 win against the Black and Orange. They were the better team today despite their struggles at the start. The kind of response and character you expect from the culture that they've built, a performance to be proud of wherever they go from here.
Yeah, a big performance by BBL.